Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
Oh shit, the fucking ice cream truck is here.
Literally, Cody, go!
Tulsa Downs.
I do. You need to go.
Listen, I'll say, the song has gotten better. Like, it fucking slaps. I don't know what.
It never stopped. What are you talking about?
No, but like, it's a different...
Ooh, it's kind of haunting with how little I can hear it. It's kind of creepy. No, please don't.
No, I think it's already gone. She goes, and she's gone.
Goodbye. Goodbye, sweet.
We hardly knew ye.
That's the problem with living in an apartment complex, is that there isn't really... And, like, living in a downtown environment, there aren't really ice cream trucks.
Big city living over here.
Yeah.
Wow.
All
right, we're in the closets, dude. Welcome back, everyone. We're here.
I wish you would stop doing this to yourself.
No, hey, I'm having a great time.
Okay.
My laundry basket is really comfortable, and I just lay on it. That's, like, super chill. Well, the darkness comforts me.
I wish we wouldn't get sued if we could just play that little Hello Darkness My Old Friend thing.
God, listen, I don't think anyone's been sued for a podcast yet, but that could be wrong.
I guess I don't know how that would work. Also, my cat just tried to eat my hair. All right, let's move on.
What the fuck is happening in this episode?
My cat is just so hungry. I don't know. She hungers. I don't...
Yeah.
She was feral. True. I don't know.
Yeah.
I try. Okay, so we have a couple current events. One is, last week when you all... You guys, it's been so long. I can't with time. A couple days ago when you all are listening to this will have been the anniversary of Belle and Edward's wedding. So, pour one out for them.
Yeah.
You know.
They deserve it.
You know, if you want to celebrate in a different way, just have sex for like 12 hours.
Right. Break a bed frame today.
Yeah.
In their honor.
Yeah. Yeah,
really
go
just
to
fuck up a hotel staff's job and life.
Yeah. Make someone incredibly angry.
Yeah, have sex to the moon.
Yeah.
Sit in a shower for a long time.
Walk naked into the ocean. Like, whatever your truth is.
Right, what feels right, you know?
Yeah, we did, I mean, it'll have gone by when you're listening to this, but there was a full moon, so, you know, like, live your truth, I guess.
Right, yeah.
But, you know, happy anniversary, Collins. I know you're out here in my area somewhere, so I want to believe, you know?
You can't hide forever, assholes.
My quest in this podcast time frame is to meet a vampire, so, like, I will become immortal at some point.
This show cannot end until Allie meets a vampire.
We
made a blood pact before we started this.
That's true. Into the Twilight means a whole lot of different things.
Sure.
But for me, it means, you know, like, I will not rest until I cannot rest anymore, you know? So...
Yeah.
Speaking of death in a lot of different ways, and while you are listening to this podcast, you might have also listened to other podcasts. Hopefully not too many.
Yeah, I mean, you know which one your favorite is. Come on. You always come crawling back to this one.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard about you all having an unhealthy relationship with media. You all have written in. Also us. We get it.
Sure.
We've heard about some of you falling asleep to our voices, which I still don't understand.
That's mathematically impossible.
Yeah. Like, the only person that's been able to do that is my partner, and he does it just out of, like, I don't know. I still don't understand how
I think it's a condition. I think.
Yeah. I thought it was out of, like, love, but then I realized that, like, he falls asleep with, like, earplugs in. So, like, I still don't. But I saw a Refinery 29 article that says Jamie Dornan is cast as Dr. Death from the Dr. Death podcast. Is there construction happen? What? I think we might actually have a woodpecker.
I love that.
If I can draw your attention to this Refinery 29 article from last week, can we please dissect on this audio medium this photo of Jamie Dornan, please and thank you.
Do I have to?
Yes, please.
It's so haunting. It looks like he has no pupils, so it's just like two glass eyes.
Yep.
And he looks a little bit like a chipmunk.
Yep.
But he's got the beard situation back, which is good.
It's a very Stephanie Meyer smile to me.
Oh, for sure. It's like tight lip, aka no lip.
Yes.
And just like pained in the eyes and the face and does not want to be there, but he must.
Yes. What it reminds me of is the emoji of just like a two eyes and then a line, like a horizontal line.
Yeah, oh, for sure. If he was just an emoji, he'd be that, like, just straight face, like,
Yeah, just a smile of just, like, eh.
Yeah. Also, fucking Christian Slater's gonna be on this television show.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
We got some daddies on this television show.
Yeah. And also Alec Baldwin, because sure.
I intentionally ignored that.
So... Lots of characters. Yeah, I'll say.
Okay.
They're getting their coins. I feel like I will definitely enjoy the television version of this a little bit more, because for me it's a lot easier to kind of pretend like that's fake.
Right.
Whereas the audio version, I'm like, oh no, that's real. For some reason,
this is gonna happen to me.
Yeah, for some reason, when I listen to those, it's much easier for me to immerse myself in them being real.
Sure.
Like, even though I knew like the black tapes was fake when I listened to it, a couple episodes in, I was like, oh yeah, that shit's real. Like, I was like, nope, that's real. So I'm intrigued by this. I will be interested to see how this works out for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then our last bit of news here is from Shape.com.
Okay.
Which I always associate the magazine Shape with, like, every doctor's office I've ever gone to.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Every waiting room I've ever been in has Shape.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. And apparently she launched a like jewelry, skincare, apparel line that she is marketing. I don't even know that I said the person.
You definitely didn't.
Okay.
No, Shape did all of this.
Yeah.
She's very powerful.
Shape, yes. Anyways, what I meant to say is Nikki Reed, who we associate with being Rosalie from Twilight. Created this line of all things, apparently. I don't know if it's supposed to be Bayou or like Bayou.
Sure.
I think it's supposed to be Bayou.
Bayou.
But it's like all one word of like ba, and then like the U part is like capitalized. But it's supposed to be considered like sustainable and ethical to like help the environment, apparently.
Yeah.
So now she's like, I feel like the last time that we talked about her was after that like pregnancy thing.
Yeah. With
the birth control. And so I feel like this is supposed to be trying to help her brand a little bit.
Right.
But I don't know. It looks fine. There's just some Instagram photos. It looks very... I mean, I'm looking at this one a little bit lower on, like, these sapphires.
Yeah.
And no shade, it looks like something that my grandma had when I was younger. Like, it looks very classic.
Sure. Yeah.
And kind of vintagey, but I don't know that that's necessarily a bad thing.
No. And now I'm just looking through Instagram, and she looks very different without that horrible blonde hair / wig.
Oh, yeah. Like, I think the brown is more her natural hair color.
Right, yeah. She just looks like a totally different woman.
Yeah. Yeah, I think...
Crazy shit.
I think her brown, kind of like with the blonde highlights, which I think is more her natural hair, suits her very well.
Oh, yeah, she looks great.
Yeah. Yeah, her Instagram, to me, is very, like... I don't know. For some reason, it gives me very, like, Lauren Conrad vibes of, very curated...
It's very goop.
Yes, exactly. It always...
Lifestyle
it feels,
brand, you know...
Yeah. Things you would see in like a shape, very much in like a magazine kind of thing.
Sure.
The kind of people that say they take it on their iPhone, but they definitely don't.
Right, yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
But, I mean, good on her, I guess, for trying to work on sustainability. There isn't much. Ironically, there aren't a lot of photos of stuff on our brand in that article, but...
Interesting.
Very interesting. Yes. We do have a couple of questions.
Ooh!
The first one was from our Twitter. We have a lot of visual pieces this week. Not that that's any different from usual. But it's just kind of a follow-up here on K-Stew's kind of like magazines throughout the ages. And the first one is kind of the Vanity Fair, which I did get to see in the wild last week. I was at like Barnes and Noble, and someone was like looking at her Vanity Fair in the like magazine in person, and I was like, good for you.
Nice.
Yes. But someone was like, thoughts on K-Stew magazine covers then and now, and so it has that one, and then one of her Teen Vogues from a long time ago.
Yeah. Huge fan of all of them.
Yes, I agree.
Nothing will top the previous Vanity Fair cover in which Annie Leibovitz shot it, and she's in a prom dress basically with a scared tiny Pomeranian.
Oh my god, yes.
And that's a mood.
The one I never forget, and I for some reason I feel like it was a Teen Vogue, is all of the Twilight cast when they were in like fancy clothes in this like well-lit field. And that one I feel like I can never get out of my mind. And I feel like it was more so like New Moon era, because she had like long kind of like black hair at that time. But that one for me always kind of stands out.
Oh, so I've done a great service to myself and Googled Kristen Stewart magazine covers.
Thank you.
And this is a treat. There's a lot of good stuff here. Most notably, I think, is for Interview magazine, R.I.P., where they gave her like a lot of covers, which is beautiful. One of which was from the fashion issue, and she's got this like, she had like her like shag bob kind of hair that was like blonde, and this smoky eye moment, and it's beautiful.
I love that.
And there's just a lot of good stuff going on here. A lot of variety covers, actually.
I'm seeing a lot of Elle ones, too.
And Elle, yeah. Interview, she's got a couple. Ugh, and she looks great in all of them, and I'm upset.
Yes, it's truly criminal, I would say.
There's like a Chinese version of Elle, and she's got this like white hair moment. Oh!
Yeah, this was a mistake Googling this.
Yeah,
I would
so
say.
Upset.
Yeah, this is a rabbit hole, for sure.
Yeah.
Also, I love that in the matter of just Googling this image search, there's one of fucking, out of all of these, there's just one of, fucking Woody from Zombieland on here.
Sure.
Because that's who I needed when searching for K-Stew.
Yeah. Oh my god, another one that was more recent was the 032C one, which I think we might have talked about the photos, but if we didn't, it's very important. It's when she had that, like, bleach hair moment and also her bleach eyebrow moment and, like, the chain.
God bless.
Ugh, so good. So good.
There are a lot of these.
Yeah. God, and she deserves it.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right, with how long of a career that she's had.
Right.
So I get it.
Yeah.
We have another one here, a Patreon question.
Cute.
Would you like to read it?
Yeah, I would. It's from Kelly Elliott, who says, "What do you think Belle and Edward Swan Cullen did for their anniversary this week?"
That is a really good question. Let's see.
Of course, Bella's like, fuck a party. Fuck this.
Right.
Meanwhile, a party had already been planned so many weeks in advance.
Yes, that's true.
Surely, by Alice or someone. Being like, I know you didn't want a party, but it's my anniversary, and I already made one, so you can't say no.
I mean, a part of me secretly wishes that they went to go cheer on Simone Biles, but, like, that's too, like...
Oh my god.
In person.
Sure.
Let's see here. Maybe they did something low-key here. Maybe they
probably just went to a nice dinner,
I like that.
Just went to a nice little dinner.
A little dinner, a little Amuse Bouche of blood.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean...
A little blood mousse.
Okay, that's awful.
A little blues.
Nope, it's worse.
Okay, well. Fuck me, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not like they would actually...
I know they're not gonna eat dinner. I know that. I know the rules of vampires.
Well,
but...
It sounds like they don't.
But, they gotta, like, save face a little bit. They gotta go out in the town.
That's true. Okay. Do you feel like there's ever a world where... Yes. Okay, well, hear me out, because I don't know that you would like this.
Okay.
Where Belle and Edward would run in to Christian and Anna. Because you'd have to imagine that they run in similar circles of, like, high-profile bunches, right?
Maybe. But I feel like that's more of, like Esme's kind of territory. You know what I mean? Like, they're not doing a lot of the schmoozing. Maybe they are now, but I don't know. We can't assess that at this moment.
Okay. All right. Fair. Okay, we did get another little bit here from Kelly Elliott. So thank you for this glorious content this week.
Yeah.
Let me pull this up. Kelly Elliott. Okay. Kelly said...
Back at it again, Kelly.
Thank you so much.
God.
I found this review on Amazon for the Twilight books, and I just had to share it with you because I feel like it embodies the ethos of your podcast pretty well, which I can surmise as, this is trash, and kids shouldn't read it. Now let me tell you how much I love this trash. So, if you would like, I will read this review for you because it's so good.
Sure.
Thank you to Chris Linneman for reviewing this so recently on June 2nd.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. It's like, no, people need to know what I think about this now, which is basically how our podcast happened.
That's true. It's a 3-star review.
Ooh.
I first read this series when I was 12 or 13 and loved it. I was all about hot vampires and love triangles with hot werewolves. I still do. However, rereading this as an adult, I'm appalled Bella's relationship with both male protagonists are abusive. Throughout the series, both try to and do control her through physical force, and they manipulate her like it's nobody's business. Even after non-consensual contact occurs, everyone is really quick to write it off. Bella's dad blames her for trying to set boundaries. What? Abuse and non-con aside, the relationships are super unhealthy and codependent. That's fine if you want to read that as an adult, but please save your niece/daughter/whatever some confusion, and don't buy them this book for them. I can't believe I used to think this book was relationship goals. Aside from that, Bella holds incredibly problematic views about herself and relationships to others, and the book offers no resolution or growth for her aside from pick a guy you think you don't deserve and they'll take care of you. Again, not a message I think young women need to read when they're not fully capable of recognizing it as an issue and not the norm. Having said all this, the series is a fast and entertaining read. I recommend books 1 and 2 and Googling the plot for the 3rd and 4th. And 10 people found this helpful.
Yeah. Add me to that list. Make it 11.
Yeah. I mean, wow, Chris. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your service. Wow. Come on the podcast.
Yeah, I want to know more of these thoughts, Chris. So Thank you.
Chris.
Truly. Yep. Same.
Yeah.
So, wow. We have a couple of chapters to get through. I know.
No.
And it just keeps going. This is a book that does not seem to end, unfortunately.
I wish it would.
Same, but no, it does not. So we have chapters 29 and 30.
Doo-doo.
Yes. We somehow have like 150 pages left, which is baffling.
Just a bajillion more chapters.
Yeah, for some reason it continues, and I don't get it. I don't get it.
It's fucked up.
It is. It's wild to me. You should be.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for justifying my emotions.
Your feelings are valid.
Thank you.
So chapter 29 starts off with a very jarring sentence, I would say. Of just like Joe being his incredibly just like emotional self.
Ugh.
Of just being like, you know what, Beck? This is it. This is the final straw. I'm just gonna do it.
It's like, come on, man. Fucking grow up.
Yeah.
This is not how you genuinely feel. And this is belittling to other people's experience.
Yeah, the way that he starts off this chapter makes me think that, like, even though he shits on people for liking classics and basically for liking any kinds of books, right, even though he works in a bookstore.
Yeah.
He makes it seem like he read Romeo and Juliet once and was like, you know what? This book slaps.
Oh, man, this guy's onto something here, actually.
Yeah, he's like, you know what? I would die for love, actually.
Yeah.
Especially when he's like, you have dismissed me, and it's been 5 hours and 11 days since you took your love away. Because he's decided to just use song lyrics now.
Of course he references, like, the Postal Service and, like, all this shit. It really
thank
pathetic.
Thank you for you using such great heights right now.
Yeah.
Like, fuck off.
Yeah, way to call me out from, 7 years ago.
Honestly, I was like, can you not use these songs right now?
Yeah,
actually?
Did I think about when I was like 13 getting a Such Great Heights tattoo? Yeah, for sure. I don't need to be called out in this moment.
Yeah, and it's those things too where I'm like, this author like gets it, but I just wish that it was like a step more.
Sure.
And it's not even that I want her to, I don't know that I want this author to like take it a step farther, but I just want it like I want the level of criticism to be a little bit more sometimes, because it just feels, I don't know. I don't even know that I'm saying what I want right now, but it just, Joe doesn't, he just feels awful, and it doesn't feel self-critical, I guess. Like, I feel like if a guy from, like, some of my college classes sometimes read this, they'd be like, oh yeah, this is the appropriate behavior.
Yeah.
And not like, oh, this is very cringy, I guess. Anyway, apparently he's still reading, or, like, still writing some of Benji's tweets, which I hate that. Especially the idea that he uses the, like, he says ha 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 as a hashtag, which totally normal, definitely not a bot.
Right.
Definitely wouldn't get, like, spam.
Also, like, who hashtags Coca-Cola?
I don't know. Does Coca-Cola hashtag Coca-Cola?
I don't think so.
I honestly don't know.
I sure hope not.
Wait, hold on.
Uh-oh.
I'm just gonna... I mean, I don't know that they're even promoted on my Twitter because I don't drink Coke, but I just need to find out. Okay, so apparently Coke doesn't even use hashtags on their product.
Sure. Because
they understand how to use Twitter.
Yeah, no, this is fair. As someone who has a social media job now,
oh my god. Now I
hashtags
will
are
say,
canceled.
I will say that since they were integrated on Stranger Things, they did have several of their tweets that were upside down.
Ugh.
Which is, looking at them just like regular,
right.
I thought I was just like, my brain was broken.
You're like, oh no.
So I will say on those ones for Stranger Things, they did have a hashtag save Coke, but they do not use hashtag Coca-Cola.
Okay, this is good information to know.
And also, I feel like Benji would know this as someone who, like, creates a product, but you can't use a dash.
Yeah.
Okay, this is just bullshit, right? Like, you can't, this is nothing. But, like, this is, anyway.
Right.
Just, Joseph, just shows that, like, you don't understand how to do the internet. Yeah. So, you are a robot.
Yes.
And arguably, like, more of a robot than Christian. Which I didn't think was possible.
For someone who fucking hates social media and thinks it's awful, he's very, like, good at just utilizing it. In bad ways, for sure, but, like, definitely uses it.
And it just shows that, like, he doesn't know how to use it to operate to be like a human.
Right.
And he's bad at crime. Which means that, I don't know, all of this is, like, more working points in my PowerPoint.
Yeah.
That Joe is a robot.
Yes, correct.
Joe listened to Tessa Violet's Make Me a Robot and was like, yes.
Oh my gosh. It's like, this goes on to something.
That was the first thing that Joe listened to when he arrived on Earth and was like, yes.
Got it.
I understand. I also love Joe's power that, like, he was on Twitter while literally helping a customer, and she was like, oh, I have my own reusable bag. And he was like, fuck this woman. Like,
what a fucking bitch. You think you're better than me or something? What the fuck?
Also, side tangent, did you see that study that came out a couple days ago that was like, men often don't use or, like, bring reusable bags to the store because it makes them look gay?
Right, yeah, it was bad.
What the fuck? Anyways, thanks for, like, well, one, corporations, thanks for literally ruining our environment. But also, what is toxic masculinity even? Thanks for helping us have a podcast, I guess. Also, the rest of this chapter is just Joe being on the verge of snapping Ethan's neck.
Yeah.
For Ethan just existing.
Yeah.
He's just going on about, like, I'm really happy with the relationship that I'm in. Me and Blythe are really independent. We're just taking our time. Also, I, don't really get paid much here, Joseph. So I try to work bargains at the Gap. And he's just sharing about his day because there aren't a lot of people in this bookstore. And more Joe is just like, I want to kill this guy.
I'm going to fuck this guy out. How dare he be so milquetoast and just so boring.
How dare he...
It's unbearable.
Have a regular poop schedule. How dare he go to Bed Bath & Beyond and get a collapsible tray table that makes me think about my relationship and how lonely I am.
So, what's up with that?
I did not realize that someone could have a crisis over a collapsible tray table.
He really just gets so worked up over things that people really don't even think twice about, which I think is really the thesis of Joe Goldberg.
And also, he really goes in on him for having a collapsible tray table, as if they both don't live in New York, where space, doesn't exist.
Right. Sorry that Ethan can't dine on 50 typewriters at once.
Yeah, sorry that he, doesn't have room for a dining room table.
Right.
As if you have one of those, Joseph. Sorry that he doesn't want to stack 6 typewriters and fuck those while he eats on non-existent tables and plates, sir.
Yeah.
Also, I did think that the dig about the Big Bang Theory was great. So that was a highlight of this chapter.
But also, Ethan and Blythe are now full swing. Fully dating. Which
I find weird that they're just skipping onto that and we don't get any... we still haven't been introduced to Blythe yet.
Right. So, I feel like the relationship definitely popped off pretty quickly in the show, but, we knew who Blythe was, and she was a relevant character.
Yeah.
So what the fuck,
so
guys?
Weird. I mean, I'm glad that we got more of her in the show, I guess.
Sure.
But it is very weird that she just, doesn't exist in the book at all.
The fuck? I miss her.
I agree. It's truly criminal. Also, so Joe is still being an asshole and, reading Beck's emails. Mm-hmm. Which, throughout, reading the rest of this chapter, I kept thinking, oh, Joe's, reading her texts. And it's no, Beck is an asshole who, only emails people. Because who does that?
Yeah, imagine, just giving away so much of your personal life on email.
No, thank you.
Can't relate.
Cannot imagine a time... Because this is supposed to exist in, 2015.
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, group text existed.
This
all of your friends...
This doesn't have to be like this.
Yeah, all of your friends are supposed to be, way richer than you, Beck. I know you have a phone. You have 2 phones, technically. But I don't understand. Yeah, can you imagine only communicating with your friends through, a group email and, accidentally, replying all when you're supposed to just text? Oh my... No. That's my hell.
Thank you.
So, apparently, they're... all going to... Well, by all, Peach and Beck are going to Little Compton... Sure.
The LC.
The LC. Because Beck is still thinking of Joseph or whatever. Hannah's my favorite character in this book right now. Because she doesn't take any of Beck's bullshit, which is amazing and needed. And I hate that doesn't exist in the show. She just becomes a very boring side character.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. But anyways, Joe sees some of this. He sees, 2 lines about himself of, Beck wanted to call him but didn't. And Peach being I'm glad you didn't call him. We're gonna go to this place from my family's house. And he's well, maybe it was a good idea that Ethan told me about this, clearance section. He can leave. And I'm going to go get all of these clearance items and everything is going to be great and perfect now. And so that's where chapter 29 stops.
Ugh.
So, like, hey, Joseph, have you ever considered therapy and maybe talking about, like, why your mood swings so much?
Thank you.
So chapter 30 starts, and Joe is still doing that thing of, like, overusing M dashes. Yeah. And so apparently he has, like, new bandages, which, like, think about that, Joseph. And a new attitude.
Ooh.
Good. And a new hat, apparently.
Congratulations.
Apparently he also got a new haircut at the Gap, which I didn't know that was offered.
Right. Is that an option?
Apparently that Gap offers it.
Listen, the best barbers are at the Gap. They don't tell you this. They don't want you to know this information.
You just have to ask the right people, apparently.
Yeah. You gotta have an Ethan on you.
Yeah. Apparently with that, like, 75% discount or whatever, shit gets real. But he's, like, freaking out, super excited, finding Peach's family address online, which I can't tell if he's, like, super good at the internet or if Peach just, like, has had a stalker before because she's not good at locking up her information.
Right.
I honestly can't tell.
What's the deal here?
Yeah, I don't get it. But he has to, like, ask Mr. Mooney if he can take a vacation, but apparently January is not a good time for selling books, which, sure, I guess.
I mean, January is just not a good time for retail in general.
Yeah. I mean, I always associate that with, like, returns from the holidays.
Right, sure.
Yeah.
He's just like, you know what? Fuck it. Take off the whole month. Just get out of here. Whatever.
Yeah. So he's just going on and on about, like, Murphy's Law. And, like, just imagining how much, like, apparently beach house sex they're gonna have in January.
Well, because he's like, oh, you still like me. Which is confirmed, right? That he's been stressing over this forever, and he's like, fuck, I ruined it, I blew it, my stupid, shitty dick didn't do it, and now you're never gonna see me again. But Beck is like, oh, well, I still miss him. And he's like, yes! Fuck yeah! I did it! She still likes me. And so now he's like, oh, well, I'm just waiting for the day you, like, text me, and you finally can't hold back anymore, and you're like, come fuck me in this beach house out of nowhere, and at Peach's beach house. Come fuck me at Peach's beach house.
Yes. Well, yeah, because Hana's all like, well, instead of running away, right, what if you just text him
and figure something out?
And figure it out. And
yeah.
She's like, oh yeah, that'd probably be a good idea. And she's like, well, maybe instead I'll just imagine he's here. And,
right.
And Hana's like, what if you just
like, that's don't... Not like, at all what I said.
Yeah, because Beck was all like, well, it's kind of like in Sex and the City when... And she's like, no, that's not... That was a TV show. And so, again, Hana is great and doing the damn thing. So I appreciate Hana for being the literally one voice of reason in this book. But then things get, like, weird at the end of this chapter. Which is saying something, because, again, this book is wild.
Yep.
So apparently he was, like, downstairs doing all his, like, bullshit and stuff. And so, of course, he's, like, about to get ready to go, and as anyone that works retail knows this, like, the last 5 minutes before you close are hell.
Yes.
Because clients always know, like, this is my time. This is when I will do the one last run to get things. And anyone that has worked retail before, like Cody and myself, know, like, the last 5 minutes are when you start to just, like, close.
Right. It's like, if anyone comes in here, they are my enemy. Exactly.
So this is what happens with Joe as well. And he says, like, he hears stuff upstairs when he tells them, like, we're closed. We find out that he has a machete in the basement, which, sure. Okay. I don't know what that's I don't know that I knew that before. And so he goes upstairs, and there's 3 people that are charging him, and they're all wearing Barack Obama masks.
So that's a choice.
That is something. And so one of them has a crowbar.
Right.
And so they all, like, go and attack him. And they, like, beat the crap out of him. In his new Gap hat. I'm assuming that he got other clothes, but we only hear about the
cool
hat. The hat. And then we find out that he recognizes the sneakers of one of the people, and it's Curtis.
Dun, dun, dun.
And Curtis, the high kid, has come back for his revenge.
Because he was wronged.
Because he was done an injustice.
Yeah.
And Joe feels deeply wronged because he needs to get to Beck to have beach house sex because she misses him, but he's bleeding and swelling, and they have finally left him, but he is there alone and bleeding. And that is where the chapter ends.
And I hope he dies next chapter.
Honestly, I hope it is a series wrap on Joseph.
Listen, I know we have 100-something more pages of this, but I'm gonna believe that there's only 1 page after this.
Yeah, I hope it turns to, like, Peach's point of view.
Oh, yeah.
And we just start fresh at this point.
I think that'd be good.
I agree. But yeah, next week we've got chapters 31 and 32, and we are only 60% of the way through.
How is this happening?
How is this the longest book that we have read? I don't understand. I feel the exact same way.
Yeah.
My boy.
My dude.
My dude. Okay, we have a couple passions to get through this week. Well, one thing we didn't do this week was a screen rant. Ooh. So maybe we head back
to our stomping grounds. I really just typed in screenrantcorner.com.
Literally. Great.
Okay.
I love that.
No, leave me alone.
Oh my god. Maybe The Onion.
Yes.
I just typed in onion to Google, and it took me there, so...
Yeah. Love SEO, you know? Alright, let's do it.
Okay.
Shout out to Sophia Salinger. Who's gonna be? Who is going to be? Music writers attribute Lil Nas X's success to inventing country genre.
All right. Shout out to Erin Salinger.
Ow, yes.
Who's gonna be Amazon workers now being shipped in packages to personally assure customers they're treated well.
Shout out to Alex Blythe.
Woo!
Who's gonna be Weird Wedding has some kind of religious theme.
Okay. Very good.
Thank you.
Alright. Shout out to Taylor Brown Town Lautner.
Oh.
Who's gonna be... okay. Clingy Wingstop hounding man with dozens of messages after single drunken night together.
Amazing.
Very good.
Shout out to Katie Weber. Who's gonna be breaking Hot damn, 500 smackers!
I just saw that one. That's so good. Okay. Shout out to Simon Steele.
Beat me up, Simon.
Break me off a piece of that Simon Steele.
Oh my god.
I just came up with that right on my head. I'm so funny.
Yeah, you're fucking hilarious, dude. You're fucking funny, man.
Simon, I hope your wife says that to you all the time.
Oh my god.
If she doesn't, you can use it.
Break me off a piece of that Simon Steele.
Okay. Simon, I don't know if this is relevant to you, but I think it's funny. You can swap it in with any sports that you like. I don't know if you like... Okay.
Damn.
Cautious Browns fan, not expecting team to do better than 13-3.
Great.
Sports jokes.
Sports.
Sports, am I right? Okay. So I came up with this one myself.
Wow.
I know. You're welcome.
Allie wrote this fanfiction.
No, I didn't.
Wow.
I'll do that. I didn't. I'll do that for the last ever show that we do. Oh.
Whoa.
I don't know that. You know what? Fuck it. If anyone remembers that, maybe. But I wanted to kind of bounce off what Kelly shared with us earlier of this, like, review for, like, the Amazon review. So what I did is I went on Amazon reviews for you, and found one of those to share with you today. And so this is a 3-star review, similar to one that we saw earlier. And it is from the Kindle edition. And it is from the reviewer titled The Critic. So I figured it would be pretty legit. And it is from February 21st of 2017. And it goes a little like this. The good news. The book's rant on the pretentiousness of artisanal Brooklyn and its wannabe writers is hilarious. The narrator truly has one of the funniest voices I have ever read. Very entertaining. The bad news, way too long. The narrator loses his charm by page 300. There is not enough plot to justify the 400-page length. Also, so unbelievably unrealistic. It's worse than Ripley's antics in Highsmith's Ripley books. There are too many forensic fails to mention here. I don't mind a few implausibilities, but the entire criminal plot line was irritatingly implausible. And that's it.
That's fair.
I felt like that is what I expect from a 3-star review.
Right, yeah.
Of like, yeah, it's kind of funny, but also bad at crime. And also very long. So
that's correct.
So the critic is pretty fair, I would say.
Yeah.
So, I would say it's pretty spot on and lasts after 2 years. So
amazing.
But as we say here in Seattle,
get bit
and get whips.
Ooh.
This is an Earbud Media production. You can find us on Twitter at Earbud Media and listen to the rest of our shows. You can find this show on Twitter at Into the Twilight, as well as intothetwilight.show. You can send us an email at intothetwilightshow@gmail.com. You can also become a sponsor of the show or buy some merch at intothetwilight.bigcartel.com. Our art is done by Maddie Padilla, who you can find at YourGhostHost44 on Instagram, and our music is done by Eli Krause, you can find at Eli Sauerkraus and KrausFilms.com. The intro and outro is by KB Smith, you can find at KB__Smith on Twitter. You can find Allie on Twitter at Into Wild Places, and you can find me at Dyke Discourse. You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.